I'm going to talk to you about the casualty that we know about so far of the Trump assassination attempt. Retired fire chief killed while shielding his family from bullets during the Trump rally. Apparently, as soon as the bullets started flying, he shoved his wife and daughter to the floor and then threw himself over them, and he got one of the bullets. His name is Comperatore, and he was 50 years old and an asset to any community or society to which he belonged. And I want to ask, who killed him? Was it Thomas Crooks? Or was it one of these guys?
I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Too many see the protests as the problem. Please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Go to the Hill today. Get up in the face of some Congress people.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them, and you tell them they're not welcome.
Running away from Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
When they go low, he kick.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
And that's only in America. In Britain, we have our own whippers up. This was tweeted by Dan Wootton, and it refers to the BBC presenter, David Aronovich, who said, if I was Biden, I'd hurry up and have Trump murdered on the basis that he's a threat to American security. It's been deleted now, but Mr. Aronovich, as you should know, the internet is forever. Now, this is a particularly irresponsible tweet, but the fact is that Aronovich felt he could do that and say what he wanted and get away with it. Now, I'm going to read to you an email from somebody in the Netherlands who sent me this. In 2002, we had in the Netherlands a comparable situation as in the US now, when Pim Fortuyn was demonized by the left and was killed by a green activist. The right said that it was the result of the left's rhetoric and the newspapers. And then he said that for 2 weeks there was a little introspection, but then things faded away, and now we are with Geert Wilders in the same atmosphere. And he goes on to describe the way the left parliamentarians are started to treat the new parliamentarians from Geert Wilders' side. It says here, a majority of the Dutch people were shocked by the childish behaviour of the left parliamentarians. And then, the left is a religion. They can't help themselves. This is how they tick. So I have little hope things will change in the US after the shocking murder attempt on Donald Trump. And he says things won't change, but they can change. And I want to suggest perhaps how it can be done. I suppose everyone remembers, I suppose most of the people watching this video will remember a few years ago when Tommy Robinson was arrested illegally, as it turns out, for standing in the precinct of a court. And he was put in a prison which had a very high number of violent prisoners who happened to be Muslim and were there because they had some Islamist-related crime. And it was definitely an attempt to murder him. They knew that somebody else would do it. And that's when I had a sympathy for Mr. Yaxley Lennon before then. But the sort of willpower he exerted to preserve his own life in that situation was nothing short of remarkable. And why was that allowed to happen? Because the majority of the British population had the message that this was a fascist who deserved what he was getting. And if he'd have been killed by somebody in the prison there, that would have been good riddance to bad rubbish. That's the general attitude that people were getting, and they were getting it from the media. It doesn't matter if we have leftist politicians, if the media expose their hypocrisy. And talk about, the power without responsibility, the prerogative of the harlot throughout the ages. When Kipling said that, he was talking about the media. And he was saying, and he was using the word harlot in the original sense, which was somebody, male or female, who will sell their favours for the highest bidder. And the media will sell their favours to whatever the government tells them to. They won't fight, well, very few will fight against it because they want the cash. Now, Tommy Robinson was crucified by the media. Geert Wilders there is being crucified by the media. Pim Fortuyn was actually crucified by the media. Trump is being crucified by the media. They're all trying to do it. And my suggestion is we have to fight the media. To go back to the Tommy Robinson imprisonment, there were demonstrations in the streets of London. Several of them, maybe 4 or 5 big demos outside 10 Downing Street. Did that change the government's opinion? Did it change the way the media reported it? Did it change anything? No. Tommy Robinson was still in solitary confinement in jail, eating 1 tin of tuna a day because he couldn't trust the prison food. It didn't change. And it didn't change because nobody in the papers was making a fuss about this. They could have said this is inhumane treatment. If he did get imprisoned for an offence that's legitimate, then he shouldn't have been in that prison. He was definitely not a high security risk. He shouldn't have been with those people. And the press could have made a fuss about that, but they didn't. They wanted what the government wanted. Now, I am not suggesting that anyone attacks the press. That's precisely the opposite. But we can make our feelings felt. We can, for instance, stop watching the BBC and stop paying the licence fee. Or we'll have to stop watching all live television. But we can do that. It's not such a hardship. Now there's YouTube and Rumble and BitChute and Minds and all the others. It's not such a hard thing. We can do that. We can stop watching them. And we can write letters. You know, I'm a great believer in writing letters. When CNN comes up with some rubbish like this, you don't go for CNN. Write to the advertisers. CNN wants the money. That's what we should be doing. Big demonstration. I mean, I intend to go to the 27th of July rally, but That's not going to make any difference, apart from the fact that it's going to reassure all of us that there are others who feel the way we do. No, the important thing is to change the minds of the people who are purveying this sort of rubbish. And the only way we do that is by cutting off their financial inducements to act in that way. Okay, well, it's certainly worth discussing and thinking about, isn't it? Till next time. You can help my channel by clicking like, by subscribing, by clicking the notification bell, and by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels are in the description, also links to donation sites, but really the best way you can help me is simply by clicking like. Thank you.